The mansion on the hill had everything: golden chandeliers, marble floors that echoed like music, and windows that opened to a garden big enough to host an entire festival. Yet inside that mansion, there was silence, a silence that no luxury could fill. It was the silence of a child's pain. Ethan Walker, the only son of billionaire businessman Robert Walker, had not spoken a word since his mother's death. At just 4 years old, his world had turned upside down the day his mother closed her eyes forever. The once cheerful boy who laughed at butterflies and splashed water in the garden fountain now sat in a corner, hugging his teddy bear, refusing to eat, refusing to talk, refusing to look at anyone. Every nanny that the millionaire hired came with qualifications, experience, and recommendations, but none could reach Ethan's heart. They tried everything: colorful toys, stories, songs, but the boy wouldn't even look at them. Each time they tried to feed him, he turned away. His father, though wealthy beyond measure, felt helpless. He would stand by the door of his son's room, watching the boy's small figure sitting in silence, his eyes distant and empty. "Why won't he eat?" Robert whispered one night to his housekeeper, his voice cracking. "I've given him everything money can buy." The housekeeper sighed sadly. "Sir, what he needs isn't bought, it's felt." Days turned into weeks, and Robert grew desperate. Ethan's health began to decline. The doctor said he needed to eat, but nothing worked. Then, one morning, the new maid arrived. Her name was Maria, a young woman in her mid-20s with kind eyes and a soft smile. Unlike the others, she wasn't dressed in polished perfection. Her uniform was simple, her hands showed signs of hard work, but her heart carried warmth that could melt ice. Robert didn't expect much. She was just there to clean, to do chores, not to take care of his son. But fate had other plans. As Maria dusted the furniture in the nursery, she noticed Ethan sitting quietly by the window, clutching his teddy bear. She didn't approach him like the others did, with fake smiles or forced cheer. Instead, she gently began humming a lullaby. It was an old tune, one her mother used to sing to her when life was hard. The sound floated softly in the air, and something magical happened. Ethan turned his head. His little eyes, for the first time in months, moved away from the window. Maria pretended not to notice. She kept humming, smiling to herself as she tidied up the toys. When she finally looked at him, their eyes met for just a second, but in that second, a connection was born. That night, when she went home to her small apartment, Maria couldn't stop thinking about the boy. She remembered the emptiness in his eyes, the kind she had seen in her own reflection years ago after losing her parents. She whispered to herself, "He's just a child, no one should feel that kind of loneliness." The next morning, she came early. Instead of going straight to cleaning, she brought with her a small wooden toy she had carved herself, a little bird with painted wings. When she placed it near Ethan's teddy bear, he glanced at it curiously. "It sings," Maria said softly, pressing the tiny switch under the toy. The bird chirped, a gentle sound like spring morning. Ethan's eyes widened. It was the first time he had shown interest in anything. Maria smiled but didn't say another word. She just sat quietly nearby, letting him observe. Over the next few days, Maria continued her quiet approach. She didn't force him to talk or eat. Instead, she created moments. She would hum while cleaning, draw pictures of animals on his table, and sometimes sit by the window and whisper stories about her village, the mountains, the rain, the sound of her mother's voice. One afternoon, she was sitting near the kitchen, eating a simple meal of rice and stew. Ethan walked by, holding his teddy. Maria smiled, gently offering him a spoon. "Would you like a taste?" she asked, her tone warm and soft. To her surprise, Ethan hesitated, then slowly walked closer. For a moment, it felt like time stopped. He looked into her eyes, and in that moment, he saw something familiar, motherly care, something real, something safe. He opened his mouth. The spoon touched his lips. Robert, standing unseen at the doorway, froze. His eyes widened in disbelief as tears filled them. For months, no one had been able to feed his son. Not doctors, not nannies, not even him. But this maid, this simple, kind woman, had done the impossible. Maria noticed him watching and looked away shyly, continuing to feed the boy gently, one spoon at a time. Ethan smiled for the first time in months, a small, shy smile, but enough to melt the ice around everyone's hearts. Later that night, Robert approached her. "What did you do?" he asked softly. Maria lowered her eyes. I didn't do anything special, sir. I just gave him what he needed most, love. Robert stood silent for a long time, his heart heavy with realization. All his wealth, all his power, couldn't buy the healing that a single kind heart could bring. As the days passed, Ethan began to recover. He laughed again, played again, and every mealtime, he waited for Maria to feed him. The mansion that was once filled with silence now echoed with the sound of laughter and life. Robert would often stand at a distance, watching them, his son and the maid, feeling something he hadn't felt in a long time, gratitude. He knew that he owed her more than words could express. And as Maria continued her work, unaware of the miracle she had created, fate quietly began to weave a bond that would change all their lives forever. By the end of that week, even the staff whispered about her. The boy eats now, they said. Because of the new maid. But Maria never took credit. She only said, every child has a key to their heart, you just have to find it. And little did she know, she had found not just the key to Ethan's heart, but to a father's as well.